The name of the movie is Before the Fall. The film begins with Friedrich, the son of a poor factory worker. He graduated from high school and wants to continue his studies, but their family's financial situation did not allow him to do so. Friedrich started working in the factory with his father in addition to other small jobs, and he also loved boxing a lot. One morning the coach pushed Friedrich to a duel with a professional boxer. Friedrich managed to impress the coach with his skills, but in the last seconds Friedrich backed off because he felt sorry for his opponent and lost the match. Although he did not win the match, he managed to attract the attention of the coach. The man asked him to apply to Napola Academy because he was in good physical condition. At first Friedrich hesitated to join the academy because his father was against Nazism, but at the same time he thought that if he graduated from the academy, he would be an elite soldier and not have to worry about money. In the afternoon, he went to join the academy, and there he was well examined, and after they made sure he was qualified they approved him, but he had to get his father's approval to be accepted into the most prestigious academy in Germany. He came home and asked his father to sign the papers, but his father refused and ordered him to remove the idea from his head. Friedrich had a little brother whom he loved very much. Friedrich told him what had happened while his little brother was bathing, and when he finished bathing, their father entered to take a bath in the same water to save water. Friedrich is told that he will be sent to an educational program next month, because his father fears his son will make a stupid decision in haste. He is keen to steer him away from the Nazis. At night he talked to his brother and greeted him, before he forged his father's signature and ran away from home. In the morning his father found a letter saying that he had gone to join the academy. His father was so angry that he broke Friedrich's bicycle. He arrived at the academy, which looked like a castle from a historical movie. The coach welcomed him and introduced him to his roommate Christopher. He took Friedrich into the room, taught him how to put his things in the closet, and then told him to come down to the hall after 15 minutes. When he put on his uniform, he was very impressed with his appearance. They gathered in the hall where the principal welcomed them and called them future elites. Friedrich smiled throughout the speech knowing he had made the best decision of his life. After the speech was over, he met the rest of his classmates. And they were very friendly, when suddenly a second-year student and supervisor named Johann entered them, who ordered Friedrich to do push-ups because his locker was disorganized. But when the coach saw him, he stopped him. At night Friedrich could not sleep, so he asked Christopher about the empty bed next to him, but it turned out that they were not allowed to talk after the lights went out. In the morning Albrecht Stein, the son of the city governor, joined them. Albrecht did not want to join the academy because he loved writing poems and essays. He helped Friedrich make his bed and they became very close friends. They are trained by the ruthless trainer Karl. Later, Johann tells Karl that Siegfried wet his bed a second time, and as punishment brings his own bed to the yard and urinates on it in front of everyone. They taught them in the classroom Hitler's speech, and had to evaluate his words and write essays about his wisdom. They were taught Darwin's theory of survival, because they think it's the right way to live. They also used the theory to justify the imprisonment and killing of Jews. They taught them how to shoot and use weapons. Friedrich started boxing with a trainer, whom he trusted very much. It turns out that coach Napoleon was the Premier League boxing champion. But he started to lose in matches little by little. The coach wanted Friedrich to give back the gold medal to the academy. A month later, the academy students received letters from their families. Friedrich received a letter from his mother wishing her son well. Albrecht sent many articles to his parents. But they returned it and told him he was a good writer, but he knew they hadn't read it, because the pages still contained a lock of hair that he put in when he sent the articles. Friedrich felt sorry for Albrecht and took one of the essays to read. The training lasted for several months, and Friedrich's fitness improved greatly. Then the qualifying day arrived and he beat his opponent very easily. Everyone started cheering for him, except for Albrecht, who was upset because his friend had hit someone who had already given up. Friedrich's level was commended by an elite officer. He felt he was on top of the world, until Albrecht dubbed him the tough guy. The next morning, Siegfried wets his bed again, and Johann threatens to tell the coach and demand a large sum of money from him in exchange for his silence. On that day, the students were taken to a place to be trained on how to use bombs. One of them made a mistake and dropped the bomb, so the coach, who was showing off his courage, fled, leaving the students behind. In a moment of panic, Siegfried embraced a bomb, and it exploded on him, saving the lives of more than 20 cadets. The next day Siegfried is awarded a Medal of Honor at his funeral, and they thank him for his bravery. At the same time, the students were very angry at the coach, who did not admit what he had done. The next day, the coach lectured them about having strong muscles. He asked one of the men to volunteer to punch him in the stomach, so Friedrich advanced, but he did so in retaliation for Siegfried. Later Albrecht invited Friedrich to his home for his father's birthday. When he arrived home, he was surprised by his beauty, but what caught his attention more was how Albrecht's father ignored his son. The ruler stopped his son from reciting a poem in front of everyone, because he believed that poems and articles are not suitable for men. He desired his son to be like Friedrich, and even asked Friedrich to challenge Albrecht to a fight. They did not want to challenge each other, but the ruler and his friends forced them to do so, so they agreed. Friedrich knew that he would win, so he decided not to fight under the pretext that he did not want to get into a fight with his friend, but Albrecht provoked him because he felt that Friedrich sympathized with him, so he punched him with one punch and knocked him down. Then they returned to the academy at the beginning of the winter semester. And at night the director of the academy summoned them to inform them that a group of Soviet prisoners stole weapons, killed civilians, and then fled to a nearby village, and because of this they must prepare. They armed the students and ordered them to shoot the prisoners when they saw them, and they divided into groups to capture the prisoners. Albrecht and Friedrich ended up on the same team. After a while, a group of people were found running away from a hiding place, and they shot them directly, killing them all. But when they approached them, they were shocked to realize that the prisoners were just young children. Albrecht tried to save a child who was still alive, but his father arrived and shot him, then ordered Albrecht to move away. Friedrich gets into a fight with Albrecht which causes them to be imprisoned for 24 hours. The next day in literature class, the teacher asked the students to write a poem about winter, and after they finished he asked Albrecht to recite his poem. At first the poem was good, but soon he started talking about his father who killed helpless children, so he was taken to the principal's office after they summoned his father. He asked Albrecht to write another poem, but he refused, so he was fired and transferred to fight on the Eastern Front. Friedrich knew what had happened to Albrecht when he came out of the cell, and could not understand why Albrecht had read the poem in front of the students. Albrecht tells Friedrich that he never regretted it, and then a small quarrel breaks out between them that ends with them crying, and then they embrace. During the next exercise, they instructed the students to enter a hole in a frozen lake and exit through another hole. Christopher entered first and put a rope in with him to make it easier for the rest, and when it was Albrecht's turn he jumped in but stopped halfway through. Friedrich began looking for him, and when he found him, Albrecht touched the ice beneath him as a sign of Friedrich's final farewell, then finally drowned and died. He started crying over his friend, then they took him to his room. At night, he wrote an obituary for his friend and gave it to the director, who refused to publish it in the newspaper, on the pretext that he would not allow the publication of obituaries, except for those who were killed for the sake of their country. He remained in mourning for his friend. But his coach told him to think about his future, especially since the final boxing tournament is just around the corner. On the day of the match, the governor of the city came to watch him, smiling as if he had never lost his son. He fought with all his might in the first half of the match, but when he saw the ruler of the city smiling, this thing provoked him, so he left his opponent to defeat him. As a result, Friedrich was stripped of his uniform and expelled from the academy. Then he packs his stuff from the academy. At the end of the film, we see Friedrich leaving for his hometown. Here the movie ends. Thank you for watching.